1863, the United States of America, a house divided. This is the story of the Transcontinental Railroad, a bold attempt to span the West with iron rails, the greatest train race in history.
You are about to lead a team of 10,000 men across the most dangerous and difficult land on Earth. If you succeed, it will be the greatest engineering feat this country has ever seen.
If you fail, the country will forever stand divided.
The Central Pacific.
The Union Pacific.
Two railroads racing towards Utah.
Golden Spike, if victory is yours. The race is on. Should we join the Central Pacific Railroad or the Union Pacific Railroad?
Start in California and race east to Utah. Or start in Nebraska and race west. The choice is yours. Click on the posters to get more information on each company. Click on Join when you want to start. Join the Central Pacific and build east from Sacramento, California to Promontory, Utah. Sacramento, the capital of California. From here, we'll head east through mining country. There's gold in them thar hills. Utah, the Golden Spike awaits us in this United States territory. We'll have to cross the Sierra Nevadas. That means lots of tunneling and blasting through the mountains. 690 miles. The route is nice and short, but we'll face the highest mountains ever to be crossed by rail.
To Sacramento, we're off! Welcome to Engine HQ. I'm Jack. Got my steam-powered map. Got my train of thought journal to keep track of all the money I make. Got everything I need, except the Golden Spike.
Not so fast, Jack. We may never win the Golden Spike. Haven't you seen the paper?
Golden Spike stolen!
A mastermind has stolen the Golden Spike and has hatched a plot to sabotage our railroad. The mastermind has hired 6 of the meanest outlaws in the West to do his dirty work. I'll work on solving the mystery of the Golden Spike.
And I better start building this railroad. Dream Team? We've hired 3 of the wiliest Wild West heroes to help us out.
My name's Jane, Calamity Jane.
I'm Mountain Man James Beckworth. Call me Tomahawk.
And I'm Wild Bill Hickok, the Prince of the Pistoliers.
Now, let's get building.
I'll be in here if you need me.
My steam-powered map works with spectral light filtered in from outside. Manometers, chronometers, receptor lenses, and, well, who cares? It works. From here, I do all the planning engineering for the railroad. All right. We're building from Sacramento, California on the left to Promontory Point, Utah in the middle. To bail on this awesome responsibility, click the exit arrow. If you're puzzled, use the question mark. Here's your train of thought journal. Keeps track of the money you earn, your ranking, and a whole lot more. If you want to see how the competition is doing, click on the milestones on the other side of the map. I'm back here, don't forget. Turn around by clicking on the side of the screen. It's always best to start at the beginning. And that's Sacramento, California. We need to build all the way to Colfax. It took the Union Pacific 11 days to lay the first mile of track. Can you imagine? Our track layers are much faster. All set. already has a railroad. You connect with the California Central and call the city Junction. You collect $25,000.
25 big ones! Woo-ha! You reckon I could borrow a couple of thousand for some new boots?
Roseville, for 500 years, home to the Maidu Indians. To the Maidu Indians. To the Maidu Indians. Worker camps at night. The Bear River is
I've spotted some bears around here. Might be dangerous for the workers. Keep a lookout.
The Bear River is wide and has steep banks. Filled with caution because there are bears in this. Good bridge choice. Strong and not too expensive. The Bear River is wide and has steep banks. Excellent choice. Crisis. More of your workers are leaving for the mines. You must decide what to do. Come on, Dream Team, don't fail us now. The Chinese workers arrive and are working hard. The other workers grumble, but calm down before long. Collect $50,000.
The Chinese workers eat lots of foods the other workers wouldn't touch. For instance, they love to eat seaweed. This has everybody else mighty upset. I knew things would work out well with the Chinese men. The other workers are not getting along with them, however. They think they ate funny.
These big redwood trees will have to be cut down to build the railroad through here. What do you want to do? Click on the Dream Team for advice. To make your choice, click on the check marks. Decide quickly. We've got redwood coming out of our ears. Redwood trees have a hard reddish wood. They grow chiefly in coastal California and are a good source of lumber. Lumber, timber or logs prepared especially for building things.
If there's a market for lumber, we could make ourselves a bundle by selling this wood. If the demand for lumber ain't high, we won't.
We don't have time to worry about this wood. We've got work to do. Besides, if we forget about lumber and concentrate on making good time, we could get a bonus worth even more than the wood.
I reckon this wood could make us some fine railroad ties. And we always need railroad ties.
Redwoods can grow up to 300 feet tall. They're huge. After we cut them down, we'll have to blast the stumps to make the road for the trains all nice and flat.
Using redwoods for railroad ties saved us $50,000. Oh, that'll come in handy. The Bear River is wide. Excellent choice. Hungry bears raid your workers' food supplies. They snatch up meat and potatoes. You lose $5,000. Oh, man. It's always best to...
All set.
Transcontinental Railway of the Transcontinental Railway of the Transcontinental Railroad is complete. I feel good.
Skylar Cole.
It's a steep ride up, but we're here in Truckee. I think I'm getting altitude sickness. It's now 1868. Getting through the Sierra Nevadas took our workers much longer than any of us expected. The UP is way ahead of us. Get a horse! Get ahead! Get a move on! Do something! It's now 1865. The Civil War rages on. The city of Atlanta was burned to the ground last year. In school this year, kids are forced to study Greek, Latin, ancient history, math, and geography. Nothing useful like how to build a wood trestle bridge. Practically everyone's eating vegetables this year. The train lines back east are bringing fresh produce from the country to neighborhood stores in the cities. American cities are putting in big-time plumbing this year. Beautiful fountains are springing up everywhere. This year, smart shoppers are heading downtown to a new place called the department store. There's one in New York City, 8 stories high, made entirely out of iron. Congratulations! The first leg of the railroad is finished. Now it's on to Truckee. There's outlaw sabotage in Sacramento. Whom should we send on this mission? Calamity Jane? Wild Bill Hickok? Or Tomahawk Beckworth? Dream Team? Sacramento, California, August 18th, 1865. One of the outlaws has set fire to the train yard. Your mission? Rescue the prized locomotive by driving it out of the train yard. When you're ready to start the mission, click on Exit. If you
A hay trail! I'll just take some of this and see where the trail goes. A steel-tipped whip. One spark and this could detonate a blasting powder keg in no time. This'll be fun. It's too dark in there. I need a lantern to see what's inside. A lantern could be helpful if I need to go into any dark places. It's too dark in there. I need a lantern to see what's inside. These posters on the wall must be a clue about how to turn the round table.
These switches must move the track.
Sounds like the turntable moved just now. It's too dark in there. I need a lantern to see what's inside.
These posters on the wall must be a clue about how to turn the round table. These switches must move the track.
Sounds like the turntable moved just now.
Forward gear engaged.
open! Away we go! Almost out of here. I just need to put the locomotive in reverse and link up with the wood tender car. Forward gear engaged. That puts the locomotive in neutral, neither forward nor reverse. Into reverse we go. The throttle is now open. Perfect. The tender car linked up when I backed into it. Now I just need to drive out of here. Forward gear engaged. The throttle is now open. Away we go!
A train yard fire's no match for us. Nice going, eh? Our prize locomotive is safe. Congratulations! The first leg of the railroad is finished. Now it's on to Truckee. Ready? Start building from Colfax. And build all the way to Truckee. 53 miles away. Let's see how much money we have. $2,544,000. All right, let's get building. Colfax to Truckee. Your mission, find the Yuba Pass through the mountains. It's the best way through. Click on the Dream Team for advice. Maybe they know how best to cross the Sierra. No one has ever tried to do it by rail. This could be a matter of life and death. Sierra Nevada Mountains. These are the highest mountains ever to be crossed by a railroad. We're about to break a world's record. I hope.
Truckee, 53 miles as the crow flies. Keep an eye on the money meter. Every section of track will cost us $75,000 for materials and labor.
Snow ahead, I guarantee it. Let's get started before the winter approaches. These mountains are so high, once the snow starts, it never stops.
The Yuba Pass is out there somewhere. Indian scouts know the lay of the land. They're our best way forward. Just be careful. The Washoe and Paiutes are not getting along well.
Colfax. Building starts in Colfax on September 1st, 1865. There are 53 treacherous miles ahead across California mountains. Oh, brother. Colfax was named after Schuyler Colfax, a U.S. congressman who visited the worker camps in 1865.
Schuyler Colfax, the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, came all the way to visit from Washington, D.C. Everyone was so happy, they named the town after him. Psst. There's a rumor brewing that Schuyler's involved in a railroad scandal. It seems everybody's trying to make money off the railroads.
The American River is 110 yards wide and has sandy banks. Sand can be tricky. Watch out.
The American River flows into Sacramento, where we started from.
Paiute Village. The Paiutes are less friendly than the nearby Washoe, but scouts may be available to show you Yuba Pass. Check it out. The Dream Team just got back from the Paiute Village. The Paiutes do a little farming, but mostly live by hunting and gathering. They are angry at white expansion in their area. The Paiutes hunt all kinds of animals: deer, antelope, desert bighorn, rabbits, marmots, porcupines, and ground squirrels.
The California Trail passed right through Paiute lands. In 1849 alone, 21,000 people came through this area. These people hunted the animals and gathered the nuts, seeds, and berries that the Paiute depended on. They used their firewood and ruined their fresh water reserves.
I noticed that the Paiutes have special trapping areas for ground squirrels. Hunting rights in these areas pass down from father to son.
I saw some Paiute women wearing dresses and capes made from deerskin.
I can tell the Paiutes love pine nuts. There's a plant called mezcal, which I saw them roast and then chew on like gum.
The Bear River is wide and has steep banks. Build with caution because there are bears in this region. We can handle bears. Bear danger. Hungry bears along this river may raid your worker camps at night.
I've spotted some bears around here. Might be dangerous for the workers. Keep a lookout.
Washoe Village. The Washoe are friendly. Scouts may be available here to help find Yuba Pass. The Dream Team just got back. Click on them to find out what they saw. The Washoe are peaceful basket makers who live by fishing. They're not getting along with the Paiutes at this time. The Washoe fishermen believe that a monster called the Ong lies beneath nearby Lake Tahoe.
The Washoe believe there are monsters in Lake Tahoe. I was thinking maybe we shouldn't go swimming.
The Washoe kids I done saw between the ages of 9 and 15 are tattooed using black soot and grease. It's pricked into their skin using thorns.
I noticed that the Washoe use whatever they can for clothes. Skins, furs, and even bark. Out of these materials, they make aprons, breechcloths, leggings, and capes.
A scout told me the Washoe sided with the whites in their disputes with the Paiutes and acted as scouts for those who sought out the Paiutes. The Paiutes didn't like that much.
Washoe Village. The Washoe are friendly. Scouts are available here to help find Yuba Pass. What do you want to trade? If they like what we've got to trade, they'll help us find the Yuba Pass.
The Washoe believe there are monsters in Lake Tahoe.
Everybody loves rifles. I bet you they'll take rifles.
If they like water, I'll bet they'll want something to carry it in.
The Washoe don't have much metal. Maybe they could use some cooking pots.
All right, the Washoe liked our pots and will show us the way. Better look carefully. They'll only show us once. Dutch Flat Mining Town. The miners want your workers to build a wagon road. Mountains. These granite mountains are steep and difficult. Just ask Tomahawk.
Been scoping out these mountains. Folks say the Yuba Pass is not up here, but I reckon they're just too lazy to look.
Dutch Flat Mining Town. The miners want your workers to build a wagon road to Virginia City to transport supplies. What do you want to do?
Since the railroad can't go everywhere just yet, it may be a good idea to build roads for wagons. We don't have time to dilly-dally with some little wagon road. It's too great a risk. Besides, the company may give us a bonus if we rush.
There are plenty of mines in areas the railroad don't go. Now I say build the wagon road. Anybody who wants to use it will have to pay us a toll.
Oh yeah! That little mining road made us $100,000 in greenbacks. Wild Bill sure has a nose for money. Mountains. These granite mountains are steep and difficult. Just ask Tomahawk. Granite is an igneous rock that's tough and expensive to blast. Because it's so hard and strong, it's often used for making buildings and monuments. All right, we found Yuba Pass. Just head east from here and we'll make it through. Mountains. These granite mountains are steep and difficult. Good thing Wild Bill's been scoping them out. Click on him for advice.
Take a closer look at these peaks like I did and you'll realize what we have in store for us. These mountains are purtier than heaven and almost as high.
Geologists don't yet know how these mountains got so big. It's like there are two big pieces of land crashing together and pushing all the rock toward the sky.
Mountains. Another tunnel, another $100,000. Oh man. Heavy snow. Winter's approaching. It's sure to bring heavy snow. What do you want to do about it? The snowfall can be as much as 13 feet a year. The workers will have to build tunnels in the snow just to get around.
Snow sheds have slanted roofs. They help the snow glide off the sheds. The tracks are well protected now.
Heavy snow falls for many months in these parts. Sometimes snowdrifts can grow to 35 feet high. Snow is made up of small white ice crystals which form from water vapor in the air.
If it snows bad, better off stopping work for the winter. You don't want to end up like the Donner Party.
I say we build a monster snowplow and plow the tracks. It's the cheapest alternative and it's sure to work.
Let's build sheds over the tracks to keep the snow off them. It's an expensive proposition, but the investment will pay off over time. I guarantee it.
Your workers build 18 miles of snow sheds over the tracks. It costs a bundle, but ends up saving you $100,000 in the long run. $100,000. That's not bad. Mountains. Great job. In mountains this tall, a tunnel's the only way to go. Mountains. Tunneling's tough, but it's the only way through here. Mountains. These grand tunneling's tough, but it's the only way through here. Redwood trees. These big redwood trees will have to be cut down to build the railroad through here. What do you want to do? We've got redwood coming out of our ears. Redwood trees have a hard, reddish wood. They grow chiefly in coastal California and are a good source of lumber. Lumber is timber prepared especially for building things.
Redwoods can grow up to 300 feet tall. They're huge. After we cut them down, we'll have to blast the stumps to make the road for the trains all nice and flat.
If there's a market for lumber, we could make ourselves a bundle by selling this wood. If the demand for lumber ain't high, we won't. I say it's worth the risk.
We don't have time to worry about this wood. We've got work to do. Besides, if we forget about lumber and concentrate on making good time, we could get a bonus worth even more than the wood.
I reckon this wood could make us some fine railroad ties, and we always need railroad ties.
Using redwoods for railroad ties saved us $50,000. Oh, that'll come in handy. Redwood trees.
Redwoods can grow up to 300 feet tall. They're huge.
Truckee, California. We made it. When I get to thinking, it's like popcorn on a hot stove. It's now 1868. Everybody this year is reading Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Have you read it yet? Americans are a fashionable bunch these days, now that sewing machines let the ladies make their own clothes. Dinner is served. The first Pullman dining car, offering train passengers luxurious meals, just hit the tracks. This year, kids all over America are playing Milton Bradley's The Checkered Game of Life board game, risking things like jail and poverty for the chance at wealth and happiness. Our first outlaw has been spotted in Sacramento, and it's Billy the Kid, who must be up to no good. The prairie may not have trees, but it's flat. So even though the UP has to ship in wood for fuel and railroad ties, it's making good time by building across flat land. Some of the UP workers have been attacked by the Cheyenne. Can you blame them? The UP is building over land that was promised to them by the US government. The UP was snowed in for weeks with one of those prairie blizzards that can pile snow up as high as your hat. UP workers make about $4 a day. Can't blame them if they leave the railroad to head for the gold mines in the Black Hills of Wyoming. This is the break we needed. We're coming to get you, kid. Let's pick a member from the dream team to do our dirty work. Billy the Kid is hiding in the train yard. Your mission? Catch the kid. First, find out where he's hiding. When you think you know, click on that location with the gold deputy star. You only have one guess, so make it a good one. To start the mission, click on Exit. The information on this page is here to help you out. If you want to see it again, Just click on the Train of Thought journal.
Runaway horse! Hit the deck! Now where's that outlaw? Now where's that outlaw? Billy the Kid, show your ugly face. Yippee-i-oh, kid! You're under arrest.
Want to know what's going on this year? Try clicking on the calendar. Want to go see Sarah? Through the door behind me.
The mastermind hides his tracks well, but everyone we're looking for knows something about him. That's where this steam-powered interrogator comes in so handy. It's the perfect device for people who don't want to talk. Just remember, though, a person is innocent till proven guilty. Geronimo wouldn't be caught dead doing the mastermind's dirty work, but he may have information we could use. Jesse James calls himself the most famous outlaw in the West. Guess what? He may be right. One thing's certain, though. Everyone we're looking for has information we need. Let's leave the engineering to Jack and the interrogating to me, shall we? Speaking of Jack, he's back there, through that door. You can go there anytime you want. I'll stay here and handle these tough guys. Whenever you capture an outlaw, click on the wanted poster and the villain will appear in the jail cell. Click on one of the question words and I'll get down to business. If we trick them into talking, they just may give us clues. There's a secret weapon at my disposal if you know where to look. It's helium. Don't forget, we're trying to figure out who the mastermind is who stole the golden spike. Anytime we get a clue, I'll record it here in the Train of Thought journal. After you capture and question all the outlaws, it'll be time to guess who the mastermind is. I can ask questions that are polite, tough as nails, or totally loco. Which'll it be? Let's be tough as nails and see if that works. Okay, kid, spill the beans. Who's your boss?
Unlike, say, myself, he's no one very important.
We just got ourselves our first clue. Now comes the interesting part. On the cell door is the galvanic skin response steam-powered truth meter. It measures the amount of sweat on the outlaw's dirty palms. It'll gauge whether or not our outlaw friend is telling the truth, lying, or dodgy, which is somewhere in between. A dodgy clue. Useless. So, which one is it? Outlaw interrogate where? Tough as nails. You better tell me where your boss lives, or they'll call you Billy the Grandpa by the time you leave here.
He's no friend of the South.
Dodgy. I'll put that in the journal anyway. Look who's talking now.
I'll never talk. You can't make me. Not even with helium.
That what? Let's be tough as nails and see if that works. Billy, you rascally robber. Tell me what your boss looks like or I'll give you what for.
Healthy as a horse. Never been injured.
Dodgy. I hate those. I'll record it anyway. How? Tough as nails. Tell me how your boss earns his living, Billy the baby. Or you'll be living in that cell for a very, very long time.
Okay, he might be a New Yorker, but I'm not sure.
Not true. I'll record it in the journal. You know how you can tell an outlaw's lying? Their lips are moving.
Draggle-tailed gutter snipe! My pencil just broke. Wadsworth is our next milestone. Let's build. Belle Star's been spotted near Truckee. Over by Colfax, an outlaw has sabotaged one of our trains. That mastermind is up to no good, I say. We're coming to get you, Belle. Belle Star is holed up in an Indian village. Your mission? Find Belle Star. Just click on the Train of Thought journal if you want help.
Medicine Man! Medicine Man! A brave! He knows where Belle Star is hiding. Here's what he says. Give it food and it will live. Give it water and it'll die. Give it food and it'll live. Give it water and it'll die. Remember, we have only one. Give it food and it'll live. Give it water and it'll die. It's fire, of course. She must be in that teepee. Belle Star, show your ugly face. We found her, but she escaped again. That varmint. Let's find out where she's hiding next. This is what he has to say. It can make you lighter or cause your death. Outlaw, where you be? We caught Belle Star! Yeehaw!
Some people get a penny for their thoughts. I get a whole $1.
Let me at him. 2. Let's be tough as nails and see if that works. Listen, Myra, if you don't tell me who the mastermind is, I'm going to get mighty mad.
I'm Belle Star, the bandit queen. Don't call me Myra.
That's not a clue. 2. Let's catch him off guard with a loco question. Who plows snow in duck feathers?
No need for plowing snow where he's from, you know.
Dodgy. I'll put that in the journal anyway. Where? A question that's tough as nails. Now, no more nonsense. Where does your boss live? Let's have some answers, pronto.
He's a con, like me. He's a Confederate, I'm a convict.
A true clue. I'll record it in the journal. What? Let's be tough as nails and see if that works. Unless you tell me what your boss looks like, I'm going to tell the other outlaws what your real name is, Miss Myra Belle Shirley.
Ha! That doesn't scare me. I don't care what people call me.
Drats, not a clue. Look who's talking now.
No! No! I can't stand the helium! Turn it off!
Let's get what? Loco question. It'll drive 'em nuts. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody is around to hear it, what color are snowflakes?
If you had a beard like the mastermind, I'd come over there and pull it right now. You're a wacko!
A dodgy clue. Useless. How? Tough as nails. I'll ring your bell, lest you tell me how your boss makes a living, Miss Bell.
Ring away! This bell ain't cracking.
Not talking, huh? cow! Loco question. It'll drive 'em nuts. How does the mastermind make money, Sonny?
Why, he's not interested in money, honey. He's President of the United States of America.
False. What a useful liar. I'll mark it in the journal. If I had a face like these outlaws, I'd sue my parents.
Some people get a penny for their thoughts. I get a whole dollar. The first U.S. parade with floats rolled down the streets of Mobile, Alabama this year. Hey, world record! An Hawaiian surfed on the highest wave ever this year. It was a 50-foot tidal wave. It's now 1868. Everybody this year is reading Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Wadsworth is our next milestone. Let's build. Over by Colfax, an outlaw has sabotaged one of our trains. The mastermind is up to no good, I say. Dream Team?
That sounded like a bomb. I hope the bridge is okay.
Colfax, California, June 16th, 1868. An outlaw has bombed one of our key bridges. Your mission? Rebuild that bridge. Return to this page for help by clicking on the Train of Thought journal. To start your mission, click on Exit.
It's the engineer! We need to repair that bridge. First things first. He says find a chain and pull the locomotive back from the cliff. Worker tent. Nothing in there. Worker tent. A locked box. Better get the combination of this lock. Not open yet. It's the engineer! I'm supposed to find a chain and pull the locomotive back from the cliff. A worker! Says the chain's inside a box in the tent, but the box is locked. He telegraphed to the next station to find out the combination. We better go to the telegraph. The telegram has the combination. Better figure out the Morse code and open that box up. Let's go. Worker tent. A locked box. It's open! A chain! Chain's in place. All I need to do is back this baby up and we're home free! Into forward gear. That puts the locomotive in neutral. Into reverse gear. The throttle is open. The train's safe. Now it's time to rebuild the bridge. Better ask the engineer what needs to get done. It's the engineer! He says get the tie layers. They're in charge of laying the wooden railroad ties. Tie layers! They can't work until the horse moves their ties to the bridge. If only I had something a horse likes to eat, I could lure him over to the bridge. It's the cook. Says there's an apple in worker tent. Apples. Get along now. That's a good boy. Now the tie layers can get to work. It's the engineer. He says get the spike drivers. They're in charge of spiking the rails. It's the spike drivers. It's the spike drivers. They're out of spikes. We better telegraph to get some more. The telegraph. The telegraph. Better type in the Morse code for spikes. Click on the dashes and dots to spell out the word letter by letter. Here come the spikes. Spikes! Better hand them to the spike drivers. It's the spike drivers. There they go. Let's head back to the bridge and see how they're doing. It's the engineer! Look, they're fixing the bridge. Look, the bridge, it's fixed. The trains can run again. Yee-haw!
The bridge is fixed and all's well. Our supply lines are flowing free. Let's hope that's the last of the outlaw sabotage. Wadsworth is our next milestone. Let's build. Let's start. We'll be starting the train tracks in Truckee and winding our way to Wadsworth. 63 miles away. At $48,000 per mile, the government's given us $3,024,000. All right, I'm raring to build. Truckee to Wadsworth. Your mission? Avoid stirring up trouble among the Washoe, the Paiutes, and the thousands of miners now living here as well. The miners and their animals are using up the water and food the Washoe and Paiutes need. No wonder there's trouble. There are now over 20,000 miners working at and around the Comstock lode in Nevada. The Comstock lode is a 3-mile stretch of gold and silver, found 6,200 feet up on the side of Sun Mountain in Nevada.
There are 20,000 miners in this area working on the traditional lands of the Washoe and the Paiute. No telling what trouble may be brewing.
They say by the time it's all mined, gold and silver from the nearby Comstock lode may total over $300 million. Woo-hoo! That ain't chicken feed.
Miners in this area make a lot of money. $4 whole a day.
High wages like that make it difficult to get workers for the railroad.
President Lincoln said the gold in these parts is what saved the Union during the Civil War.
Lake Tahoe is approximately 22 miles long and 12 miles wide. Difficult to cross. Lake Tahoe means big lake in the Washoe tongue. The name fits.
Lake Tahoe lies over 6,000 feet above sea level and is over 1,600 feet deep in some places. Hey Jack, bet you can't touch the bottom. Lake Tahoe.
Lake Tahoe. Truckee. Building begins at Truckee on April 3, 1868, before you lay 63 long and difficult miles to Wadsworth, Nevada. Oh great, just what we need. More mountains. Truckee was named after the Paiute Indian who guided immigrants to California across the Sierra.
Truckee was named for a Paiute, but his name wasn't Truckee. He kept saying Tro-K to some settlers he was guiding. That's Paiute for everything's okay. He was just being friendly and they thought he was saying his name.
In Truckee, we're building a wooden roundhouse. It can hold up to 11 locomotives.
Truckee River. The Truckee River is an important food source for the nearby Washoe. It's not very wide, but it often floods. It doesn't look too difficult to cross, but I don't like the sound of those floods. The Washoe fish the Truckee River in search of Lahontan cutthroat trout.
The Truckee River is lined with cottonwood trees. I wonder if they'd make good railroad ties.
The Washoe sure know how to work the river. They use dams to make fish ponds. They can carve a bone into a fish hook.
I admire them Washoe fishermen. They even know how to ice fish in the winter.
Scrubby foothills. These are the foothills of the Antelope Mountains. It may take some blasting to create a level road for the rails.
Scrubby foothills like these are easy to climb. Miners often comb these hills for traces of gold.
The Antelope Mountains are made of granite. They can be steep and difficult to cross.
I made a sketch of some gold miners panning the creeks at the foothills of the Antelope Mountains. If they find gold nuggets here, they'll head on up looking for the mother lode.
Virginia Mountains. The Virginia Mountains are made of granite.
There may be gold in the Virginia mountains, but getting to the gold is the hard part. These mountains are steep.
Ranches. Cattle ranchers have built irrigation ditches down to the banks of the Truckee River. You may have to cross these to build here. What's more, we may have to pay them for right-of-way to build over their irrigation ditches.
Don't give 'em a nickel. They're itching to have the railroad here to move their cattle.
If we give them something, say $25,000, at least we know there won't be trouble.
Just let them move their cattle for free, and they'll let the railroad through.
Ranchers use cowboys to transport their cattle long distances over land to market. They might just love a railroad near here. Ranches. Irrigation involves supplying water to land where water normally doesn't reach.
When ranchers herd their cattle to the edge of the railroad line to transport them to market, the towns that spring up are called cow towns.
Paiute scouts have been spotted in this area with bows and arrows. Bows and arrows? Maybe we should get behind a tree or something. Paiute bows are extremely long. Their arrows are made of solid wood and feathers. Paiute scouts have been... The Paiutes may be using bows and arrows for hunting, not fighting. Paiute bow...
In 1860, the Paiutes killed 43 white men who were trying to avenge an earlier raid on the Carson River. This northern Paiute man named Winnemucca was responsible for bringing the Paiute Wars to an end. His daughter Sarah Winnemucca had a long and interesting political life in the United States.
Washoe scouts have been spotted in the area. They're carrying spears and harpoons.
I saw the harpoons the Washoe are carrying, and they look mighty sharp. I wonder if we shouldn't stay clear of these scouts.
The Washoe scouts may be heading to Lake Tahoe to fish.
The Washoe have developed many interesting technologies for fishing. I've even seen them construct dams to divert rivers.
Washoe scouts have been spotted in the area. They're carrying spears and harpoons. What do you want to do?
I've seen their weapons. I say we get them before they get us. Let's attack now, before it's too late.
I noticed the kinds of weapons they were carrying. Could be tools for fishing. The Washoe might not be on the warpath. I say we try to trade with them. They might protect us from the Paiutes.
The Washoe Scouts offer your workers protection against the Paiutes. They request exactly $3,200. Pay them in gold, $3,200. How many ounces of gold is that anyway?
Gold is fetching $16 an ounce now. People are becoming millionaires overnight.
Let's see, $3,200 at $16 an ounce. We should give them 50 ounces.
Well, let's see here. You take the 16, carry the 1, add them together. I say it's 20 ounces.
If there's one thing a mountain man knows how to do, it's trade. $3,200 is 200 ounces of gold.
The Washoe claim they've been cheated. They offer no protection against the Paiutes. Wadsworth, let's start. We'll be starting the train tracks in Truckee and winding our way to Wadsworth. 63 miles away. At $48,000 per mile, the government's given us $3,024,000. All right, I'm raring to build. Truckee to Wadsworth. Your mission? Avoid stirring up trouble among the Washoe, the Paiutes, and the thousands of miners now living here as well. The miners and their animals are using up the water and food the Washoe and Paiutes need. No wonder there's trouble.
They say by the time it's all mined, gold and silver from the nearby Comstock lode may total over $300 million. Woo-hoo! That ain't chicken feed.
Miners in this area make a lot of money. $4 whole a day. High wages like that make it difficult to get workers for the railroad.
President Lincoln said the gold in these parts is what saved the Union during the Civil War.
There are now over 20,000 miners working at and around the Comstock lode in Nevada. The Comstock lode is a 3-mile stretch of gold and silver, found 6,200 feet up on the side of Sun Mountain in Nevada.
There are 20,000 miners in this area working on the traditional lands of the Washoe and the Paiute. No telling what trouble may be brewing.
Lake Tahoe is approximately 22 miles long and 12 miles wide. Difficult to cross. Look, Lake Tahoe means big lake in the Washoe tongue. The name fits.
Lake Tahoe lies over 6,000 feet above sea level and is over 1,600 feet deep in some places. Hey Jack, bet you can't touch the bottom.
Washoe scouts have been spotted in the area. They're carrying spears and harpoons. What do you want to do? Dream Team, give us some advice.
I've seen their weapons. I say we get them before they get us. Let's attack now, before it's too late.
I noticed the kinds of weapons they were carrying. Could be tools for fishing. The Washoe might not be on the warpath.
The Washoe scouts may be heading to Lake Tahoe to fish.
The Washoe have developed many interesting technologies for fishing. I've even seen them construct dams to divert rivers.
The Washoe Scouts offer your workers protection against the Paiutes. They request exactly $3,200. Pay them in gold, $3,200. How many ounces of gold is that anyway?
Let's see, $3,200 at $16 an ounce. We should give them 50 ounces.
Well, let's see here. You take the 16, carry the 1, add them together. I say it's 20 ounces.
If there's one thing a mountain man knows how to do, it's trade. $3,200 is 200 ounces of gold.
The Paiutes have been unfriendly and hostile to the Washoe. They think the Washoe are being too nice to the miners in the area. The Washoe's gold is worth $16 an ounce these days. The Washoe use it to trade with the miners for supplies they need.
Gold is fetching $16 an ounce now. People are becoming millionaires overnight.
Your trade is successful. The Washoe agree to protect the railroad against Paiute attacks. That's a relief.
You don't last long in the mountains if you can't trade proper.
Lake's Crossing was renamed Reno for the American Civil War general Jesse Lee Reno. Collect $200,000. That's the money made from shipping freight from Virginia and Carson City in the South.
Lake's Crossing is the site of a toll bridge across the Truckee. There's talk of changing its name to Reno.
Virginia City. Another railroad company doesn't want you here. They bought all the land in the area, so you'll have to deal with them. This could get expensive. But Virginia City's a rich town. Might still be a good idea to build. Virginia City is so rich from mining, a railroad here should make money. But 2 railroads?
Virginia City, home of grubby prospectors turn into instant millionaires. Watch out.
I say go back. I don't trust these city slickers to make us a fair deal.
This is the biggest city along the whole route. We can't lose. Just buy the land, pay whatever it takes.
The Virginia and Truckee Railroad charges you $500,000 for the land. You'll never make it to Wadsworth. We're busted.
I never thought I'd say it, but I guess there's such a thing as loving gold a little too much.
Indian Village. This village could be Washoe or Paiute. Proceed with caution. Indian Village. Fishermen can be seen fishing behind blinds. Do you want to build through this area? Is that a Washoe or a Paiute village? Could make all the difference.
I say we're safe here and that we should build.
Not safe here. We shouldn't build.
Washoe Village. The Washoe are friendly with your workers. You collect $100,000. The scouts showed us the best route. Good thing we made friends back near Truckee. Urgent telegraph. Read the telegraph and respond immediately. Click on the camera to see Sarah's Morse code book. It'll help us figure out what the message says. To read the telegraph message, interpret the Morse code. Morse code was introduced by Samuel Morse in 1837. It's a way of passing information over wires with electrical pulses.
Here's Morse code. Use it to figure out what the message says. You probably don't need to look up every letter. Work smart.
Urgent telegraph. Read the telegraph and respond immediately.
It says Washoes are coming. We better prepare for an ambush.
It says Paiutes are coming. We better prepare for an ambush.
It says bandits. We better send out a party to capture them.
Hey, great job! Bandits were going after the company's payroll. We got them in time, though, plus a reward.
Bandits like these were trying to get a hold of one of our payroll trains. We could have lost a whole day's pay to those rascals.
Indian Village. Indian Village. Hunters can be seen with long bows and arrows. Do you want to build through this area?
I say we're safe here and that we should build.
Not safe here. We shouldn't build.
Let's try the other village. The Carson River is marshy and wide here. A marsh is a watery place where a river may or may not run depending on conditions.
As with the Truckee, the marshy banks of the Carson sometimes flood in the spring.
Wadsworth, let's start. We'll be starting the train tracks in Truckee to Wadsworth. Carson City. Carson City is one of the oldest and richest cities in Nevada. Competition between railroad companies is strong here. In 1861, Carson City became the capital of the Territory of Nevada. And when Nevada became a state in 1864, it became state capital.
Carson City, Nevada. They're currently finalizing plans for the state capitol building here.
Washoe scouts have been spotted in the area. They're carrying spears and harpoons. What do you want to do? The Washoe Scouts offer your workers protection against the Paiutes. They request exactly $3,200. Your trade is successful. The Washoe agree to protect the railroad against Paiute attacks. Lake's Crossing was renamed Reno for the Indian Village. Fishermen can be seen fishing behind blinds. Washoe Village. The Washoe are friendly with your workers. Urgent telegraph. Hey, great job! Wadsworth, let's start! We'll be starting the Truckee to Truckee River. The Truckee River is an important food source for the nearby Washoe. It's not very wide, but it often floods. It doesn't look too difficult to cross, but I don't like the sound of those floods.
The Washoe sure know how to work the river. They use dams to make fish ponds. They can carve a bone into a fish hook.
I admire them Washoe fishermen. They even know how to ice fish in the winter.
The Washoe fish the Truckee River in search of Lahontan cutthroat trout.
The Truckee River is lined with cottonwood trees. I wonder if they'd make good railroad ties.
Truckee River. The Truckee River is an important food source for the nearby Washoe. It's not very wide. It's a strong bridge, but about $25,000 too much for a little river like the Truckee. Scrubby foothills of the Antelope Mountains. It may take some blasting to create a level road. The nitro blasted those hills flat as a flapjack. Scrubby foot... Danger. A nitroglycerin explosion blows up a steam engine. Ranches. The ranchers may want you to make an offer to obtain permission to build over their irrigation ditches to the Truckee River. So we may have to pay them to build over their irrigation ditches. If they want the railroad to come this way, we may not need to pay them anything.
Don't give them a nickel. They're itching to have the railroad here to move their cattle.
If we give them something, say $25,000, at least we know there won't be trouble.
Just let them move their cattle for free, and they'll let the railroad through.
Ranchers use cowboys to transport their cattle long distances over land to market. They might just love a railroad near here. Ranches. The ranchers may want... Irrigation involves supplying water to land where water normally doesn't reach.
When ranchers herd their cattle to the edge of the railroad line to transport them to market, the towns that spring up are called cow towns.
The cattle ranchers accept your offer. Cost for transporting cattle for free? $50,000 in the long run. They would have paid us to transport the cattle. We blew it. Paiute scouts have been spotted in this area with bows and arrows. What do you want to do? They've got bows and arrows? Dream Team.
In 1860, the Paiutes killed 43 white men who were trying to avenge an earlier raid on the Carson River. This northern Paiute man named Winnemucca was responsible for bringing the Paiute Wars to an end. His daughter Sarah Winnemucca had a long and interesting political life in the United States.
Your workers fight against the Paiutes who escape unharmed. Construction delays cost you $5,000.
We're fighting the Paiutes in their territory. They know their way around better than we do.
Urgent telegraph. Hey, great job! Truckee River. The Truckee River is an important food source for the nearby Washoe. It's not very wide, but it often floods. It doesn't look too difficult. Our wood trestle bridge holds up nicely in the spring floods. Truckee River. Our wood trestle bridge holds up nicely in the spring floods. Wadsworth. The celebration continues for days. The CP has finally reached Nevada. Here we are in Winnemucca. Nice and warm for October. We're 2 milestones away from victory. We've got some real catching up to do. The UP route was longer than ours, but much flatter. Americans are a fashionable bunch these days, now that sewing machines let the ladies make their own clothes. We've made it to Wadsworth. Time to move on to Winnemucca. Nice name, huh? Black Bart has been spotted back near Wadsworth. We need to bring him in for questioning. The mastermind is at it again. There's more sabotage, this time in Truckee. We're coming to get you, Black Bart. That rat, Black Bart, is hiding out in town. Your mission? Catch the gentleman bandit. First, find out where he's hiding. When you think you know, click on that location with the gold deputy star.
Runaway horse! Hit the deck! Runaway horse! Hit the deck! A stockbiter. His name is Jimmy the Dime. He says Black Bart likes to leave riddles about where he's hiding. The first riddle he left goes like this. What doesn't get any wetter no matter how much rain falls on it? What doesn't get any wetter? Remember, we only have one chance to get him with the deputy star. Black Bart, show your ugly face. Oh no, Black Bart got away. Must have guessed.
We've made it to. We're coming. That rat, Black.
A stock buyer. His name is Jimmy the Dime. He says Black Bart likes to leave riddles about where he's hiding. The first riddle he left goes like this. What doesn't get any wetter no matter how much rain falls on it? What doesn't get any wetter no matter how much rain falls on it? I'll sniff 'em out. What doesn't get any wetter no matter how much rain falls on it? Water, of course. He must be in that building. Black Bart, show your ugly face. We found him, but he escaped again. That varmint. Let's find out where he's hiding next. Runaway horse! Hit the deck! It's a cowboy. He saw Black Bart come out of that building. He left another riddle. It goes, what's as big as a church, yet weighs nothing? Remember, we only have one chance to get him with the deputy star. What's as big as a church but weighs nothing? The shadow of a church, right. Black Bart, come out of there. We caught Black Bart. Yeehaw!
I'm fired up.
2. Polite. Mr. Bart, please be kind and tell me who's the mastermind.
Kind I am and kind I be. His name is a president's name, you see.
Dodgy. I hate those. I'll record it anyway. Where? A polite question, huh? Tell me where your boss does dwell, so I can free you from this cell. Wouldn't that be swell?
The home my boss does like the best is home on his ranch, way out in the west.
False. What a useful liar. I'll mark it in the journal. Let's see who's full of hot air.
I'll talk at last, and I'll talk fast. Just turn off that helium gas.
Bet what? A polite question, huh? Black Bart, I'm your biggest fan. What does your boss look like? What kind of a man?
Even though that ditty is not very pretty, I'll tell you that he lives in a very big city.
A dodgy clue. Useless. How? A polite question, huh? Do tell me, Mr. Bart, just how does your leader keep money in his feeder?
I'm sick of your rhymes, and sick I feel. My stomach's not made of my boss's steel.
A dodgy clue. Useless.
We've made it to Wadsworth. Time to move on to Winnemucca. Nice name, huh? The mastermind is at it again. There's more sabotage. This time in Truckee. I'm in Truckee. On our way! Truckee, California, August 18th, 1868. A bomb has been spotted in the train yard. Your mission? Clear the locomotive out of the train yard and detonate that bomb. Good luck!
A steel-tipped whip. One spark from this could detonate a blasting powder keg in no time.
I can tell by his hat. He's an engineer. He ain't going near the trains. He's afraid of the bomb. Says we better get his train out of the train yard. First, we have to connect the mail car to the green locomotive. In the cab.
Forward gear engaged.
That puts the locomotive in neutral, neither forward nor reverse.
Into reverse we go.
The throttle is now open. On the move.
Forward gear engaged.
The throttle is now open. Here you go, buddy. Now get out of here before she blows. I'll blow them up. Stand back. That engine's dead. We'll have to push it into the roundhouse. Better turn it around first.
I'll go inside the roundhouse now. I'll have to pull the right lever to turn the train around. Look at the lever that's already been pulled and do the opposite. Sounds like the turntable moved just now. Sounds like the turntable moved just now. A worker, maybe an engineer, says he won't go near the bomb. We'll have to get inside his locomotive and connect it to his freight car and bring it back here. On the move! Forward gear engaged. The throttle is now open. In the cab. Forward gear engaged. The throttle is now open. I'll have to pull the right lever to turn the train around. Look at the lever that's already been pulled and do the opposite. Sounds like the turntable moved just now. Sounds like the turntable moved just now. On the move! Forward gear engaged. The throttle is now open. Up we go! Forward gear engaged. The throttle is now on the move! Forward gear engaged. That puts the locomotive in neutral, neither forward nor reverse. Into reverse we go! The throttle is now open. Up we go! Forward gear engaged. The throttle is now open. There you go, buddy. Now get out of here before she blows. The saloon keeper. He was hiding under the bar, a fear to the bomb. Says the outlaw locked it up. The combination is 3 letters that spell out a word that describes the outlaw. 3 letters that spell out a word that describes the outlaw. Fox. Click on the arrows to turn the lock. Always turn to the right first, then left, then right. Got it! The bomb! A whale! Down the well she goes. We did it.
The trains are running again thanks to us. We're back and ready for action. We've made it to Wadsworth. Time to move on to Winnemucca. Nice name, huh? All right. we'll be laying our first track in Wadsworth. And we won't rest till we get to Winnemucca. 135 miles away, at $32,000 per mile, the government's forking over $4,320,000. All right, let's get this train moving. Wadsworth to Winnemucca. Low rainfall, high temperatures, and scarce food supplies. Your mission? Make it through the desert. With the desert in front of us, we'll have to plan carefully. Otherwise, we'll be eating rattlesnake and drinking cactus juice. A desert is a dry region that has a limited population of specially adapted plants and animals.
The 40-mile desert stretches a good part of the way between Wadsworth and Lovelock. There's no water there, and the temperature can get well above 100 degrees. It's the fastest way between the 2 points, however, and there are no mountains to cross.
Let's go along the mountains to the south and head north after we cross the Humboldt River. I hate sand in my boots.
I don't much like deserts, but the way I see it, it's the only way through that makes sense.
Oh, that desert ain't so bad. It's hot, but it's flat and straight. Railroad will build itself.
Hot Springs Mountains. This steep range of granite mountains will require blasting. The name Hot Springs may mean there's water in those mountains. With water there, we may do better crossing the mountains than the desert. I just don't know.
Hot Springs Mountains. Haven't been up there, but it sounds like there's water there, and in this part of the country, anywhere with water is a welcome sight to me.
There may be water, and who knows, even gold in these mountains, but they sure are hard to climb.
Hot Springs Mountains. This steep range of granite mountains will require blasting. Nice tunnel! But if we do any more blasting, I'm gonna need a new set of ears. Hot Springs Mountains. Good idea to build a tunnel. When a mountain is high and made of strong rock, it's better to go under it than over it. The 40-mile desert is the fastest way through this area, but water is scarce, and the temperature can soar to over 100 degrees. Sounds like a bad place for a vacation, but we need to get to the other side. The 40-mile desert is a barren stretch of waterless wasteland. Nothing comes out in the daytime. Not even the animals that live here.
The desert is a dangerous place. Locals done counted over 9,000 horse, mule, and cattle skeletons in these parts, not to mention 953 graves. Human graves.
The only scenery in these parts are the skeletons of the animals that didn't make it. I told this man to stock up on water before heading across the desert. He made sure his horse had a refreshing drink too. Don't know what happened to them. I hope they made it.
Nice name, huh? All right. We'll be laying our Wadsworth to Hot Springs Mountains. This steep range of honest. Hot Springs Nice tunnel. Hot Springs Good idea to build a tunnel. When a mountain. Hot Springs Mountains. Hot Springs Mountains. Honest tunneling. I'm beginning to feel. Hot Springs Good idea to build a tunnel. When a mountain is Hot Springs Mountain. That tunnel cost us $100 grand. Cost us $100 grand. Cost us $100 grand. That's one expensive hole in the ground. But it's the only way. 40-mile desert. This is the last chance to stock up on water and wood before entering the 40-mile desert. You will need 1,000 gallons of water and 800 yards of wood per mile. The water's for thirsty workers. The 40-mile desert is a 40-mile.
The only scenery in these parts are the skeletons of the animals that didn't make it.
40 miles of desert? We'll take 4,000 gallons of water and 3,200 yards of wood, and if we have any left over, we'll just build us a swimming hole.
You won't find me turning into a skeleton in that desert.
We'll take 400,000 gallons of water and 320,000 yards of wood.
With 40,000 gallons of water and 32,000 yards of wood, we'll make it to the other side in one.
It's hot out there, but we're doing well on water and fuel. Lovelock is located in a marshy area rich in minerals and wildlife. You collect $100,000 by stocking up on water and fuel. All right.
I've done seen lots of minerals near Lovelock. I found traces of gold, silver, copper, mercury, tungsten, gypsum, sulfur, platinum, and manganese.
Lovelock is named after George Lovelock, an Englishman who runs a stage station there. Lovelock is minerals are.
I got a photo of a stagecoach pulling into George Lovelock's station. They're stopping at the saloon for a whiskey. Bad stuff, whiskey. Makes men go mad in the head.
The Humboldt River is very small and narrow. It disappears into the ground near the Humboldt Sink. I can walk across the Humboldt without getting the tops of my boots wet. Good choice. This river's barely a stream. The deck plate bridge holds up well. The Humboldt River is.
Here's our worker camp along the Humboldt River. I've heard that of the 250,000 people who went west between 1840 and 1860, more than 200,000 of them came along the Humboldt River. It was the greatest peacetime emigration in history.
The Humboldt River is the only river in the whole area to run east-west, not north-south. Ranches. The cattle ranchers in this area pay your railroad to take their cattle to market. Collect $50,000 in the long run. That's a lot of money for a few cows.
Many ranchers love the idea of a railroad. That's because the railroad will make it easier for them to bring their cattle to market.
Winnemucca lies 135 miles away from Wadsworth in a wide part of the Humboldt Valley. You have to cross barren Nevada desert to get there. 135 miles. Whew. Well, at least I can work on my tan when we cross that desert. Winnemucca means one moccasin. It's the name of the local Paiute chief.
Winnemucca was named after this Paiute chief. His daughter Sarah later became chief in her own right. More than anything, she wanted peace between her people and the whites who settled on Indian homelands. She lectured, wrote a book, and founded a school for Indian children.
Winnemucca! The people of Winnemucca throw a party to celebrate the arrival of the railroad to this part of Nevada. Congratulations, we made it! After all that desert, I could use a sarsaparilla soda. On October 31st, 1864, Abraham Lincoln proclaimed Nevada the 36th state of the Union. Way to go, Nevada! We're in Elko. That's elk with an O. One of our engineers named it. He thought it sounded good. Whatever. We're doing a good job making up for lost time. Just one last push, and victory may still be ours. Dinner is served. The first Pullman dining car, offering train passengers luxurious meals, just hit the tracks. Here we are in Winnemucca. Nice and warm for October. We're 2 milestones away from victory. We've got some real catching up to do. The UP route was longer than ours, but much flatter. They're almost all the way to Promontory, but fear not, the mountains are slowing them up. Look what they did to us. Engineering. We'll start the tracks in Winnemucca, Nevada. And we won't stop building till we get to Elko. That's 170 miles away. Let's see how much money we have. $5,400,000. Not bad at all. Let's get building.
and the train will destroy their irrigation ditches. I reckon $50,000 in cash is a fair price to pay.
I say we trade with them. They give us the land, we'll rebuild the dang ditches, or let them use the train for free to take their crops to Sacramento.
You trade free labor to rebuild the irrigation ditches. It costs you $25,000, but you make $100,000 shipping crops to Sacramento. That's what I call a trade.
Best thing for everyone was to get those crops to market as fast as possible.
The Humboldt River is a good choice. This river is barely a stream. The deck plate bridge holds up well. The Humboldt River is the only river in the whole area to run.
It has been estimated that of the 250,000 people who went west between 1840 and 1860, more than 200,000 of them came along the Humboldt River. It was the greatest peacetime emigration in history.
This area has been a gathering and religious place for the Western Shoshone for thousands of years. The Dream Team learned some important things about the Shoshone. Be sure to check with them. The Shoshone believe that the spring waters near these burial grounds have healing powers. Many of the ancient Western Shoshone ancestors buried here are still remembered by name. This area, Shoshone live on buffalo, fish, elk, beaver, mule deer, antelope, jackrabbit, marmots, mountain sheep, sage, and hens.
When game is scarce, I noticed that the Shoshone eat a variety of other foods: owls, crickets, and locusts, currants, gooseberries, wild roots, wild onions.
This area is a gathering and religious place for the Western Shoshone. What do you want to do? Click on the camera. Scottish herders brought sheep into Nevada from California and Oregon in the 1860s. Their ranches do well since sheep love the grass and sagebrush. Ranches. Cattle ranches in this area do well because the cows love the bunch grass near the hills. Your good intentions pay off. The cattlemen and sheep ranchers agree to a settlement. You collect $100,000 by shipping livestock.
When folks are fighting, the best thing is to find a way both sides can win. They wanted the train to move their animals, so they found a way to work it out.
The Humboldt River is the only good choice. This river is barely a stream. The deck plate bridge holds up well. Coal fields. There's coal all over the place here and very little wood. Do you want to try to convert your locomotives so that they're fueled by coal?
Who knows what could go wrong if we start messing with the locomotives? Let's bring in wood from the forest back west. It's pricey, but we know it works.
I say we convert to coal. Shipping wood to burn in the steam engines costs too much. Coal's the fuel of the future.
The lack of wood in this area means converting to coal saves you money. You collect $300,000 in the long run.
That coal's amazing. In the future, hundreds of years from now, I'll bet you just about everything will run on it.
Some of the workers are spying the coal with real interest. If we could convert our locomotive engines to coal fuel, they'd run longer and faster. Here's a picture of a coal mine. Here, the men are loading coal into what they call strip pits.
Around. You need one in a big train yard where different railroad lines connect. Do you want a siding is a little side track that connects to the main track. Here we are in Engineering. We'll start the Winnemucca to Elko. Farmers around Winnemucca trade free. The Humboldt River, good choice. The Humboldt River, good choice. These famous you're in luck. Ranches. Sheep herders and cattlemen are fighting over the right to good intent. This area is Alkali Flats. This is a flat area easy to build on. The water's not drinkable. You'll have to carry water and food supplies with you.
Poison water and no saloons for miles. Get me out of here.
Well, the Alkali Flats aren't a great spot for a vacation, but at least it's flat and easy for building.
There are alkali flats all over this region. Don't drink what little water you might find there. And don't let your animals drink either. These places are bone dry and hot, so you'll have to bring in your own food and water.
These marsh. Wet conditions in this marsh. If there's flooding in the spring, it may cost you money. Steep hills. These hills are steep and grassy and will require blasting. The Humboldt River, good choice. This river is barely a stream. The deck plate bridge holds up well. Success. In just days, Elko grew from a few tents to a major supply town for the mines in the region. They built 45 saloons in 6 months, and lots are selling for $300 to $500 each. It's growing faster than a cootie outbreak in the worker camps.
Whole mess of travelers through this area. The Donner Party come through here before they got stuck in the mountains, and later the 49ers passed by too.
Wagon trains came through here in the 1850s. Their wheels cut tracks deep in the rock. You can still see some of them.
First recorded white men in the area were fur trappers led by Peter Ogden in 1828. After 1841, though, the pioneers came through real steady, following the Humboldt River westward.
This job plumb riles me. It's now 1869. A hotel in Boston just became the first ever to have indoor plumbing. What's a root beer? Sounds healthy. Well, anyway, Charles Elmer Hires sold his first root beer this year. 1869. Ulysses Grant was inaugurated as U.S. President this year. The waffle iron was invented this year. Yeah, look out! People this year are starting to talk about creating reform schools for bad kids. Sarah? Just got word from Elko. An outlaw is about to bomb one of our bridges. We need to get there before the mastermind destroys everything we've built.